there are a lot of people who play at home, but I see that a lot of people rather choose to play arcade games because they have friends there and they want to hang out. So it's kind of like you can kill two birds with one stone, where you can hang out with your friends and you can play games with them at the same time. Right?
Hey all, this is Sean and Tze Jian. They both are currently living in KL and are both arcade enthusiasts and have been enjoying arcade rhythm games for a few years now. They both were exposed to the arcade scene through home video game console ports of original arcade titles and also through peer recommendations. We're talking to them today as part of a project called Synesthesia, where we explore, document, and immerse ourselves in the niche hobby spaces in KL. If you want to learn more about our project and why it exists, you can check out our description of the video for more resources. Now, without further delay, let's get into the video.
Hi.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. Okay. So, you both, could you please introduce yourselves and tell us what you're into and what this interview is about?
I think you can start first, Tze Jian.
Alright, so the name's Tze Jian, aka Tomato inside this space. I have been playing arcade games, specifically rhythm games, for like at least a decade now, and yeah, I enjoy game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
I'm Sean. I mean, I don't really have a nickname. Most people just call me Sean. I think rhythm game wise, I've only played for like maybe like 3-4 years, I would say, but it's mostly just been arcade rhythm games so far. Yeah.
Right, so you both kind of like enjoy playing arcade rhythm games and you enjoy like being around the space
Oh
essentially,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So can you tell me like how you both first discovered arcades in KL? Like what did you do beforehand and like how did you eventually find out about it and what made you so into it?
I would say for me, it was kind of a thing where like I was just walking around my friends, and then they just said, "Hey, do you guys want to hit the arcade?" So I just went over, and then I took a look around. I saw Mai Mai. It looked quite interesting, so like I tried it out a few times, and then I was like, "Oh, this game is actually quite fun." And
Right.
then one thing led to another, and yeah.
How are you?
Well, I think it started out with from my childhood actually, because I had a Nintendo DS system, and my uncle, he loaded a really old version of Taiko, and that's how I started getting interested in Taiko when I was like in primary school, and then so on. I saw the arcade version, and then it led to today, I guess.
Right, like so
The
like
rest was history. The rest was
the rest
Yeah,
is
the
history,
rest is
right? So
history.
you guys, okay, for you it's kind of like you already had like exposure to whatever game that you wanted to play.
Yep.
But then you eventually found an arcade version, which is I think the original version, right?
Yep, yep.
So it kind of like led to you wanting to play more at the arcade instead.
Indeed.
Right. And for you it's kind of like around friends
Yeah.
and like around your peer, your social group, and essentially like you kind of transition into playing arcade games.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah, for me it was kind of more or less the same. I had a childhood friend who started playing Mai Mai first before me, and I already have history with playing arcade games because I used to play One Gun Midnight, the racing game.
Yeah.
But then he started introducing me to Mai Mai. He's like, "Yo, you should play this game." And at first it looked kind of scary because people they had all the cool gloves and the earphones and shit, and it looked like they're very pro at the game. But after a few years, I didn't really want to play, but since he kind of forced me to and peer pressure, I eventually cracked, and it led to today, which I think since I'm in the same boat with you guys, I feel like it's kind of become a pretty big part of my identity at this point, and it's kind of like who I am essentially because I do enjoy and I go pretty often. So, how long have you been part of this community?
Well, I have been spectating the community for many years now, but for the Mai Mai community, I've only been really mingling like since last year, since that's when I started to play more Mai Mai.
Right. How about you?
I would say for me, it was kind of ever since I came to study in KL. So I think it's around like 2022-ish, like towards end of 2022, I would say, up until now. So about 2-3 years.
Right.
Yeah,
So
about 3 years.
you guys definitely had like a few years to kind of like simmer around and start
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
mingle around, right? Cool, cool. All right. So what does a typical day look like for you? Like outside of the arcade, like how does your life kind of revolve around it? I mean, we're all studying, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, student life.
so aside because I would say at least I would go like maybe like a few times a week. Other than that, I would just because schoolwork is still busy. If not, if it weren't so busy, I would go more often probably because it's fun. But other than that, I would say I'm just busy doing schoolwork, making sure assignments are done
Right,
and
right.
stuff like that.
So like basic responsibilities in student life, and then in the meantime to like de-stress, you just go out and play, right?
Yep.
I see. All right, cool. So here are the second set of questions. What keeps you coming back to this hobby, and what keeps you coming back to this community? Like, why would you rather be at the arcade instead of like pursuing something else? You know, what makes this special to you?
I would say for me, it would be the fact that I have a lot of friends there. So I think, because I think there are a lot of people who like have the option to like play that also play at the arcade. That have the option to like play at home or play outside. But I see that a lot of people rather choose to play outside, like play arcade games, because they have friends there and they want to hang out. So it's kind of like you can kill two birds with one stone, where you can hang out with your friends and you can play games with them at the same time.
Right? How about you?
Um, it's also uh, a unique thing because like arcade controllers, you don't really see that much at home.
Right.
Like besides from other stuff from fighting games, you don't really see that much of rhythm game content at homes. And if you were to buy a controller, it's pretty expensive. So like, it's definitely a slightly cheaper option to head to the arcade and whatnot. And also because of the music as well, because I enjoy the music a lot.
The genre of music.
Yeah.
I see. Well, yeah, I guess I can say I'm in the same boat as well because growing up, wow, okay, this is a bit of history, but growing up, I actually first started playing like a mobile rhythm game called Tap Sonic. It's something that you can only play on like iOS back then. It's not even
Yeah,
available
yeah.
on Android. But as a kid, that genre of game gave me such a dopamine hit, and it made me so into like the idea of like playing a game that was based around timing and rhythm of a song. And after that point, it became like a hyper fixation for me. But for the longest time, I actually didn't know that there was an arcade scene in Malaysia because I would go as far as to say that I first started my first rhythm game experience was like in what 2010, 2011, and I've played like again Tap Sonic, Piano Tiles, like all the stuff that you can play on your phone or on your computer at home. But up until very recently, only did I find out that like wow, there's actually an arcade scene. I've never seen games like Sound Voltex, Mai Mai, Tunism, Ongeki, all these kinds of games that you can't really replicate at home because even though you can buy the controller, it doesn't feel as
Yeah,
real as
yeah.
actually like playing at the arcade. So yeah, for me it was definitely like a very recent discovery thing for me. But I'm glad that we also kind of share like more or less the same experiences.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So how does being at an arcade and playing your favorite games feel compared to like being at home or being at work?
I would say for me, because I do play like different games. Like if I'm at home, I don't even really play rhythm games at home. Long time ago I used to play also, but nowadays I just play like typical games like maybe Apex or League or Valorant. But I would say rhythm games at the arcade is something that you can't really get the same feel when you're at home, because in the arcade it's like you got the sound surrounding you. You can actually feel like what you're doing compared to like when you're playing like shooter or FPS games like that. It's a totally different experience.
Right. How about you?
I would have to agree with Sean said because the arcade is an exclusive experience.
Right.
So, because I don't play like FPS games. I actually solely play rhythm games only. Actually,
Right.
so
right, right.
it's a different approach to me when we're talking about games because I could never get good in FPS.
Right.
While there's just something about rhythm games that is really interesting.
Right. Would you guys say it's healthy? Because I think like games like Mai Mai and DDR, they do take some real like stamina.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah.
Health wise, okay, I've actually looked into this before. I would say that to a certain extent it does help, but not doesn't help that much.
Right.
Even though like there's stuff that like if it's intense it gets your heart rate up and stuff like that, it doesn't help a lot, but it does help a little bit.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't assume that it will be better or just as good as going to the gym or actually exercising, right?
Yeah.
But definitely better than just sitting at home watching
for sure.
reels and
Indeed,
like just
indeed.
playing
For
games
sure.
on the chair. Right,
Indeed.
right. Okay. So I think we've already talked about like what you can only experience at the arcade, right? So could you describe what this place feels like? Like maybe like the sound or like sight, or what you see and what you feel, like yeah.
I know we're gonna agree on this one. It's
Yeah.
loud.
It's
That's
loud.
the
Very
first
loud,
thing. The first
very
thing you'll
loud.
notice whenever it's an arcade and you're in the rhythm game side, it's definitely loud, especially if there are Mai Mai cabs, because there's gonna be people tapping the buttons, because that can be a bit noisy. You can have the music blaring, and it's not only one machine. Sometimes there'll be two, three, or four, and certain places in the world, although Malaysia is exclusively like anywhere from 1 to 4, there are places where you can find up to like 10, 20 machines, and those places get really loud.
Right. I think I've been to an arcade in Singapore, and they've had like 8 Mai Mai cabs just lined up.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it was loud. It was really
Yeah.
loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say the loudness kind of has a charm to it. No, it's like the loudness, but when you hear it, it's like, okay, yeah, this is the rhythm game section. This
Yeah,
is
I
like
do
the-
agree.
Yeah.
I do agree, definitely.
In a way, it kind of brings me back to a good time, right? Like
Yeah.
like a sound like. All right. So here's a set of questions regarding the social fabric of this community. So what kind of people do you think usually come to the arcade?
Probably like either, it depends, but I would say for Malaysia, a lot of them are either like university students, or maybe like, generally I would say university students or graduate or high school graduates, around those, anywhere between like 18 up until like 24, 25. I would say that's, as far as I can see, that's the main demographic. Obviously you'll have like some people who are younger, some people who are older, but I would say mainly it's uni students.
Right. Would you agree?
I would have to
Yeah.
agree.
Fair enough. I guess this kind of games do attract some younger people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I can't see someone in their, well, I can't see someone like, or many people in their 40s or 50s playing at the arcade for long.
For
But
sure.
I think there are some edge cases, but again, it's not the main demographic, which I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right. What do the regulars who come here look like, or what are they like in general?
Well,
Okay, sorry. We already asked what the demographic is like, right? But this one's more like the psychographics. So like, what they're into, what their hobbies, other hobbies might be, and the kind of like genres of music they're
I
into.
would say
you know?
a lot of regulars do like rhythm games, in the sense that they have other experience in other rhythm games. Like for example, like I would say in Malaysia's Mai Mai scene, there are a lot of people who used to play this rhythm game on computers called Osu.
Right.
A lot of them migrated to Mai Mai. So like whichever arcade in Malaysia you go, for sure you'll be able to find at least a few Osu players.
Right. I guess would you agree, or do you have any take on that?
I would also have to say that the anime fandom also takes a large
Ah,
portion
Right.
of it.
That's
anime
another
fandom,
big
right.
part for sure.
Yes. Okay. Because I know Mai Mai has like a lot of anime like soundtrack
Yup.
in there, right?
Yup.
Yeah.
All the good stuff.
Right. In the case of what Sean said, I used to be like someone who played Osu a lot. Because again, right, a game that you can only play at home, it's very accessible Osu on the computer. But then like, I kind of got bored of the repetitive nature of it, because it's like I can only do so much when I'm at home, and I'm gonna be spending like almost the entire day at home. And this was like after COVID lockdown as well. So
Yeah.
I thought something has to change, because I don't want to be running at home like this. So then I looked out. I was invited by said friend to go to the arcades, and that's when I realized, wow, there's like a whole different world of games here that you don't really get to experience just like the way you do at home. Right. So how do people interact at arcades here? Do people tend to play solo, or is there more of like a collaborative effort at times, or do they play against each other? So what is it like?
This one,
Yeah.
this one is a good question.
Very
So
Good question.
So I would say that there are a lot of people who do like to play solo. Me myself, I personally prefer to play solo for my own reason is that I want to be able to choose exactly what song I want to play throughout the whole period. But there for sure, like if I have friends and stuff like that, I don't mind playing with friends either. There are a lot of people who will, like strangers will also like approach each other to play together, but there's no really saying whether like the community prefers playing alone or duo. I
Right.
would say it's a decent mix.
Right, today's a mix. Oh yeah, for reference, by the way, My cabinets have both player 1 and player 2 sides. So generally, the game is kind of like open for 2 people to play together in one machine. All right, sorry, continue.
Well, I would say that there's one side of me who agrees with Sean a lot. I tend to be quite alone whenever I play, but I do enjoy the social aspect a lot as well, because when playing with people, you get to interact with people, and it because I'm an introvert actually, so it helps me get out of my comfort zone and get to talk to people and get to be social with people. So I think it's also a really good way to get out there, get to know people,
Right.
make
So
new
like,
friends.
yeah, I guess it is much easier to talk to people when there is something like a shared goal or like a shared passion in
Yeah,
common.
of course, of course.
Right. Okay, so this is gonna be a very spicy question, but what are the unspoken rules and rituals at arcades? Like, what are the do's and don'ts?
Do's and don'ts.
All right.
Don't cut queue.
Don't cut
cut
queue,
queue, don't
right?
Okay,
cut
I would
queue.
say.
Okay,
I would
wait,
say-
before that,
yeah.
do explain the queuing system because I think people would like to know what the queuing is like.
Okay, I would say most of the time there will be the cabinet and there'll be people playing. And for queuing, generally the general rule is if you want to play if you want to play a certain machine, you have to queue behind the machine,
Right.
like behind where the people are playing. But obviously, like give them some like personal space, like in case they want to move around when they're playing, like don't get in their way.
Right.
But I would say in general, for like unspoken rules would generally just be like logically just being polite, like don't cut other people's queue. There are other people who want to play and then like be hygienic. That's a very big thing because there are obviously if you play these kinds of game you might
Sweat a
sweat a
Sweat a
lot,
lot,
or
yeah.
so for me what I see, maybe Tze Jian has other things, but for me the two main things would be hygienic and don't cut other people's queue.
Don't want to cut. Anything you'd like to add to that?
I think his answers pretty much sums up most of it as well. It's just that just be a regular person, just don't harm other people, don't do bad.
Be
don't
respectful to other
yeah,
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be respectful.
core
Right.
value.
Right. Fair enough. I think the one thing I do want to add to this is that Mai Mai has a huge warning when you first start the game, and it's like don't slap the machine hard,
yeah.
don't press
Yes,
the button
yes,
hard.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I have an interesting take on this. It's
Right.
because for me, even though it says like don't hit hard, obviously don't purposely hit hard. But for me, I feel like if you're really focused in the game, there are people who are like they tend to hit a bit harder. Like they just simply don't notice because they're like
So engrossed.
really
Into
like
the
in the
zone.
Right,
zone.
yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, like if you're really trying to like force a score out, I think if it's not intentional, it's not good, but it's not
not bad
intentional.
either.
Yeah.
Habit.
Yeah.
I think a take is, I mean, game design is such a lengthy process, and I think the people at Sega making the game already kind of like assumed that there will be some like rough play in mind. So I do think that the machines can take up to a certain level of abuse and strength before like it actually breaks. But I think it's best, like don't hit hard too often. But there's going to be people who hit hard during the heat of the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think it's really just like have a good balance. Don't really like go hard all the time. What do you think newcomers will notice at first when they come to arcades in KL? Like any arcade, what's the first thing that they'll notice?
The lights.
The lights.
Very bright and colorful.
Yeah. I would say arcades in Malaysia are all generally very bright.
Right.
Especially Loyat. Loyat's
Oh,
arcade
Loyat
is
is
really
crazy,
blue.
yeah.
Really
It's really blue.
Almost like UV lighting.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So even when you try to take photos in there, the whole place looks blue.
Right. But anyway, that's cool, right? Something that you can only find in
Yeah, of
arcades.
Of course,
yeah.
of course.
But I guess you could also say it's a way to attract people like oh, what's this? Looks interesting. So I can understand.
So far though, I think Loyat has the best looking arcade. The rest all kind of feels a bit
It does look
ratchet.
quite good though.
Yeah.
I can't deny.
Like when you
One,
Yeah, one year looks like a prison.
yeah. It's awful, dude. Yeah, Loki, when you caps, the soundproofing is ass there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh no, okay. That's because the audio in 1U cabs are all toggled to max.
Yeah, like
Someone did it. I don't remember who, but someone did it. I'm pretty
it's
sure.
like I get that they want to hear their own cabs, but can't they just get sound barriers instead of turning the volume all the way up? Fuck me, it's so goddamn loud there. Okay, so these set of questions will be about how this hobby and how this community has impacted you personally. Has playing and hanging out in arcades changed you in any way for the long run?
Oh, for me, definitely because being in this community for a long time, like, cause me personally, I don't know about Tomato here, but for me, I like to make friends. So making more friends, seeing how the community is run has given me like a sense of purpose. Even recently, just this year, I also like hosted a tournament, and there were a lot of people who came, like not just Malaysians, because I opened it to like international players, and I had people from Singapore, Thailand, Australia, Indonesia, and they all came just for this tournament, which kind of surprised me as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty big thing, and I wouldn't say it made like I wouldn't say it put me out there in the community, but it has made me meet a lot of new people and given me an understanding of other communities regarding the arcade community outside of Malaysia.
Right. Yeah, no, because the tournament that you hosted was kind of insane. Because
Yeah.
It is. It
like
is.
you have to understand, like the whole Laoyat venue was packed shoulder to shoulder to watch the
Yeah,
finals. Like that shit was
I did not
crazy.
expect that.
Real,
I,
real, real.
I was expecting maybe like a quarter to half.
Mhm.
Like even if you go and look back at the video, there'll be a part where I will speak to my co-host Ethan. I'm like, hey, why there's so many people?
Like yeah, a place that is generally air conditioned and cold felt hot for once because there were just so many people in there.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
All right, how about you though? How has
Well,
this changed you? You know?
it did also help me improve in communication skills as well,
Mhm.
because like getting to talk with so many people,
Mhm.
getting to learn from many different perspectives, it
Mhm.
also I would say that it helped me became more understanding towards people's minds, I guess.
Right. Right.
And also having held tournaments before as well under a group called Imoto Gaikai Gaming,
Mhm.
and uh it made me see how the community is really important to
Something.
towards the hobby as well.
Mhm.
So I would also love to try to make a positive change to the community.
Right. In a way, from what you guys are telling me, it really has helped like with your communication skills and just like self-development. But at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same time, it feels like you guys aren't just taking from the community, you're also kind of giving back in a way,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because even just by participating, you're kind of already putting it out there.
Yep.
Right. I guess I kind of relate to you a bit because when I was in high school, I didn't really have much friends. And my communication skills really wasn't the best during that time. And COVID didn't help either. Like COVID made it
Yeah,
worse actually. I was
lockdown.
just sitting inside, like doing absolutely nothing online 24/7.
Chronically online.
Chronically online, yeah. But low key, this whole arcade thing, it made me feel a lot more open. And I went from like barely able to talk to new people to actually being comfortable with making new friends. And even though it's still going to be a bit hard for me because I do feel like the introvertedness won't go away, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But like I feel a lot more comfortable. I feel a lot less panicky around people, right? So have you formed any friendships or relationships that you thought you'd never be able to before? Like you never thought you'd be able to without this community.
For me, I would say that a lot of friends that I hang out with now are from the rhythm game community because a lot of people just like me, like even though they play rhythm games, there's other stuff that they do as well, like outside. Maybe like sometimes we play games, we play pool,
Right.
maybe board games. It depends, but I would say that it's not. I wouldn't say it's friends that I didn't expect to make, but it's I would still say like I expected to make these kind of friends, but I didn't expect to make these many friends. There are a lot of people in this community.
Right. How about you?
It opened my mind as well because on how many people there are in the community and how many people that I got to know as well. So it really did pave the way for me to really get out there and break from my circle. And as a result, because of rhythm games, I actually got to know a lot of cool people in the DTM scene as well.
Right. Yeah.
And damn.
Yeah. As someone who does music,
Yeah.
I also kind of realized this, but like we follow each other, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that generally kind of like opens up our circles. And personally, I've never thought that I'll be able to meet so many cool people who DJ and do like, you know, like this specific subgenre of like
Yeah,
electronic
yeah, of
music.
course, of
Yeah.
course.
And yeah, I feel like it is kind of important for a community to kind of like exist because I feel like none of this would happen without any sort of like sense of belonging or community. Right. So what role does the arcade hobby and community play in your life now? Is it something that you say makes up a major part of you, or is it just like something that you do at the side, but it's also still kind of like a little bit of your identity?
I mean, for me, I wouldn't say it's a major part, but it's fairly big. But I mean, it's big, but not really major in the sense that if I really needed to like drop out of the arcade community, I guess I could do it lah. But I obviously like close friends I would still keep with me. But arcade games with the past 2 3 years, like being in this community, it feels like kind of like a second home.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of friends that I make here, I still talk to, and then whenever I go to the arcade, I'll see them. So it's kind of like I could drop it, but I
You
wouldn't.
don't want
Yeah.
to, yeah. How about you?
Well, I don't see a reason for myself to drop out of this community because the community and the hobby itself means so much to me. I don't think I can see myself leaving because
Right.
I don't really have much interests actually. So like the arcade is like the only place I go most
Right.
of the time.
Right, right.
So it would be if life didn't existed without arcades, I probably wouldn't have progressed further, I guess. Maybe wouldn't have been expressive or become the person I am right now.
Right. That is very like in a way very touching to hear, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I guess I can kind of relate with you because this arcade hobby and arcade games in general is kind of like a big part of my visual identity. Well, not my personal identity, but like a lot of the graphic design that I do. I mean, because I'm studying in a graphic design course,
Oh,
so
okay.
like a lot of the graphic design that I do, a lot of the illustrations, the music that I do, takes so many design cues and inspiration
yeah.
from like the arcade community and the arcade games that are based in it. And like I think without exposure to the arcade community and arcade games, I would be a very dry person. Like
Yeah.
visually speaking, I'd be very dry, very corporate, very nothing burger, you know. But yeah, in a way, I'm very thankful that I'm in this community because without it,
Yep.
do you feel that spaces like this are becoming rarer or they just not tend to be around as much anymore?
What do you think?
Because I understand that like Malaysia used to have a pretty big arcade scene,
Yep.
but then there was kind of like a very long drought period
Yeah,
when
yeah.
nothing was happening, right? So do you guys think that's still happening or is
Oh,
it
that one he's gotta answer it because I only came here for like 2 or 3 years,
Right.
Even though I've planted myself in the community, but he's been around longer than I have.
right?
Well, I've been mostly spectating since 2015, and since I've also been inside the Burmani community actually. So I would say in towards the general rhythm game scene in general, excluding like Mai Mai specifically,
Right.
I feel like sustainability is gonna be very, very rough because no one really plays these games anymore,
Right.
except for the small bunch of us. Especially Burmani games as well. Like we have games like U-Beat, Sound Vortex, Dance Dance Revolution.
Right.
And back then we used to have Dance Evolution as well, but that game got EOS. So it's definitely a dying community with mostly all the older people in the community with
Tend to play.
some rare new faces. But looking at it, because I've also been waiting for titles like Beatmania 2DX or Pop and Music to
Show
come
up
over
here.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For like I would say at least a decade, and waiting it out is definitely a huge pain psychologically because it's the yearning that gets you.
Right.
It's the lack of accessibility. Yeah,
Right.
pretty much
Lack
sums
of
it up.
accessibility. Yeah. I really get you there because I'm a huge fan of again Beatmania 2DX and Pop and Music, but I cannot find these games in Malaysia.
Yeah,
Not the
yeah.
newest
No,
versions at
Not
least.
the newest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Mai Mai is doing fairly well, but there's also like the other titles that I kind of wish had more spotlight on them. And why do you think that happens? Because since no one really plays these games anymore, like our arcade operators is not incentivized to bring them in.
it's expensive. Even one Mai Mai machine itself is already like near like 60,000 ringgit. It's not
My
cheap, and then
God.
you have to have licenses and there's electric bills, and it's a lot of money to put in.
Right. What would it mean for you if arcades all around KL just disappeared tomorrow?
Oh, that'd be very sad.
That would be sad.
I mean, for me, I would say it's not that big of a deal because I can go back to Hong Kong where I usually go back and visit my family, and there'll be arcades there still. But for him, it's a bit more
Yeah.
difficult.
At the very least, there's still mobile rhythm games, but
Right. But yeah, I feel like it would be really sad because like a lot of our friendships were kind of built around
yeah,
this.
for sure.
Right?
Indeed, yeah.
And then for that to just be taken away is like imagine if you like driving and cars were taken away from you. That's
I think I'll be dead.
yeah, I'd be dead. All right, so what do you think we lose when we stop having third spaces like this, or like in general, not just arcades, but like if hobbies generally just didn't have their anchor spaces anymore, what do you think would happen?
I would say there are a lot of people, like hobbies in general. There are a lot of people who will be like, they won't know what to do.
Right.
Like they'll feel very helpless. Like even for me, as much as I could just drop out, I could, even if I wanted to drop out of the arcade game community, it'll take time. If like you just suddenly one day poof everything were to be gone, it'll be very hard to accept. I think it doesn't just apply to arcade games. I think it will apply to like most hobbies, like if people like playing badminton, maybe people like buying cars or whatever like card games, we just out of nowhere just disappeared. The people will feel like very helpless, like they won't know what to do, like, and it'll be hard to accept.
Right. Yeah, personally, I feel like I'm more worried about I'm less worried about what people who are already in the hobby or in the scene would do because, well, they will always have their outlets online or something.
Yep.
But I just worry for the new generation who are going to be growing up and coming in and just not having that same outlet that they can use to express themselves or enjoy themselves in, right? Because imagine just like going from home to work, home to work, home to work, and just doing absolutely nothing else. That I feel like everyone would be
Very
monotonous,
plain.
very plain, very boring lives. Yeah. All right. Do you think it's okay? Do you guys think that it's important for people to still gather physically in a space like this compared to just like being able to play multiplayer games online?
Hands down, yes.
Yes, for
Right.
sure.
Hands down.
I mean, my reasoning is just I don't think for me I don't want to be cooped up in my home the whole time.
Right.
I would say like coming out, like you can actually like there's a how do I put it? There's a Chinese term like 看世界, you know, like you get to see the world, you know.
Right, right.
You just sit in your home, all you're gonna see is like your computer, your bed, your food, TV, whatever. You won't see what's going on out in the world. Like you go outside, you can meet people, get to know what other people are like, and form like relationships with your friends.
Right, right.
It's totally different experience.
It just doesn't hit the same as with console gaming
Right.
because the immersive part is there. You get to immerse yourself
Right.
deep inside.
I would
Right.
say there's a reason that so many OSU players migrated out of a computer-only game and came to play a physical game.
Right. Because there's just so much more social life
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Here are like a few closing questions for you guys before we end the interview. All right. What's something that you wish people understood about arcades?
That is not a dangerous place.
Gajala social.
Arguably,
yes.
arguably, I would say there are places where like you would think that the arcade is dangerous. Like from being like when I go back to Hong Kong, there are certain arcades where they have Mai Mai, but they are a bit sketchy because they have like it's a bit illegal, but people do gambling machines and stuff like that. And you have all these like people in their 40s, 50s just smoking away, playing these games. I would say I can see why the older generation would see that the arcade is a dangerous place. For sure. I can 100% agree that certain arcades are like this, but for the majority of arcades that have the rhythm game scene in Malaysia, it's really not that bad. It's just to put it lightly, it's just a bunch of kids who want to play games together.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing is, when I was much younger, my parents always told me like, don't go to the arcade, it's a dangerous place. Because when you go to a place like that, it's really closed off and there isn't any like, in a sense, parental supervision. So like, if you're a little kid and some guy just grabs you and runs, no one's gonna know.
People
Yeah.
used to take drugs there as well.
Yeah,
It's pretty
there are
common.
people
Yeah.
who do that kind of stuff there. Even in Malaysia, there are like individuals who are a bit questionable that do frequent arcades, but most people just try to like if they're questionable, like if they for example like are like weirdos or pedophiles or such, they will just people generally will just avoid them.
Right.
Because I would say because this community is so small, like word gets out if you're like a bad person or whatever, so people will know.
I'd like to add to this point actually. Malaysia is actually like a really safe place now, all things considered.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think there's so much fear mongering going on in the news.
Yeah.
But in reality, nothing ever happens. And arcades are generally a lot safer now. And when I say a lot safer now, I'm not implying that it used to be dangerous. It's just that I think what happened is that Malaysians confused the two words, arcades and cyber cafes.
Yep.
Arcades and cyber cafes. And cyber cafes, some of them are really dodgy, and some of them do actually harbor illegal activities last time. And I
Indeed,
do get
yeah.
it. But because it's a little bit more oriented to the gaming side, that stereotype has now leaked into arcades. And
Yep.
now, even before I got into Mai Mai, I told my mom, I want to go to the arcade with my friends. She's like, why are you going arcade? Why are you doing that? It's so dangerous. I'm like, nah, it's not dangerous. And I think we just need to find a way to spread a better stereotype regarding arcades than just like, it's a dangerous place where
Gajala social.
or where druggies, shoot up meth inside the arcades. Because I think what they think when they think of arcades is just like a dark, dirty place where people do gambling and smoke meth or some shit. I think what really opened my eyes, however, to like the whole other arcade scene is that I'm actually mixed. I'm half Korean. So almost every year, almost every year during the winter time, we would go back to Korea to visit family and whatnot. And when I'm there, I would visit the arcades there. And holy shit, the night and day difference is crazy over there. Yeah, like when my mom went to the arcades in Korea, she then understood what they were really about. It's not a place where it's dodgy or like dark underground. Well,
Yeah,
albeit they
yeah.
were underground, but
They
like
were.
there's a cafe down there, like you can sit down, enjoy, have drinks, and it's a lot more family oriented. And there's also like a space dedicated to the more serious games,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like the rhythm games and whatnot. And I just wish that people would understand that arcades are more about that and not about this disgusting stereotype that we have to get rid of.
The
Yeah.
arcade chains here are actually also doing their best to cater to more family friendly audiences,
Right.
especially with the likes of Eon Fantasy Malaysia. I think they are doing an impressive job in breaking that stereotype, bringing in more fun games for children, just making it overall a safer place for families to bond
Right.
and just have fun.
Right. I really like their new Lalaport location.
It's so freaking nice. I
They got
love
I
it.
have to say though, shout out to Kobe for making my Mai 3 ringgit only.
Real,
Oh
real,
yeah,
real.
yeah. When are they gonna do that? Aeon?
Yeah.
Aeon?
But
3 ringgit, ah?
Lightning model when? Valkyrie model when?
Alright. Okay. Second question is, what keeps you hopeful about this community?
The content.
The content.
The music, the artists, the community.
I would say like, in a sense, it's like for me, it's kind of what it says as well, because like for the game that I play, Mai Mai, I would say like, because the game constantly gets updates, sometimes you get like songs that you never expected but like you really like, and they'll show up and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this song is coming to Mai Mai. Then you wait for it. Then when it comes out, then you get to play it. It's very satisfying.
Right. Last question for real now. If someone were to discover this place through our project, because I'm sure you both are aware of like our project, right? We're doing like a documentary interview type thing where we like give certain niche hobbies and they are accompanying third spaces like a spotlight basically, right? So if someone were to actually be watching these videos right now or reading the books right now, right, and they discover about like the arcades in KL and whatnot, what would you want them to feel?
I want them to feel safe.
Feel safe,
Yeah.
right?
I wouldn't want them to like feel like, oh, it's a very dangerous place, or feel like it's a bad place to be. It's a pretty chill place.
Right.
Like there's nothing really to be worried about.
Right. How about you?
Well, I think that if you were to interact with the community, to you watching, yes, you, the community will welcome you with open arms, and just enjoy the game and just have fun listening to the music. Have fun. I kind of feel I'm repeating myself, but in general, just go in. Don't be shy. Talk to a person. If asked if you can play with them, play together, make new friends, and yeah. Join competitions as well.
Don't be worried. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. Have fun.
Not really that bad. Yeah.
All right.
Casual
Okay.
place.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for the interview.
No problem.
Hey, no problem. No problem.
This was a very impromptu thing, but thank you so much.
At first I was like, oh my god, this is so serious. Then he said, fuck. Then I was like, what?
No, wait.
I was like,
no, it's
what
it's
is
not
this
serious at
interview?
all. It's not serious at all. It's like chill.
goodness.